The TAO token dumped about 20% overnight, and it is recovering at this point in time. But the reason for this dump is we had one of the bigger subnets decide to effectively rug their community. So in this video, we're going to go over exactly what exactly happened and also what needs to change moving forward in the subnet ecosystem. And honestly, where I would be looking at if you are to continue staking your subnet tokens, because just like with anything in crypto, a lot of bad actors, and there was definitely some malpractice going on with what this situation presented. So I'm going to go over that and more in this video, and also give my honest thoughts of, am I still as bullish on Bittensor TAO as I was before? So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right. No sponsor shout outs today. Nothing like that. We're just going to go ahead and jump right into the video. Like the video down below if you've been enjoying the content, as well as subscribe to the channel. Let's just jump into this. So as you can see here, the monthly chart on Bittensor TAO still looks absolutely beautiful. But if you were to pull up Twitter over the last 24 hours, or you just see this chart, then you're seeing, okay, what the heck happened here? And you can see here the landmark event that happened was that Covenant AI, the builder of Covenant 72B, left Bittensor. So what happened here over the last month? You probably had seen, even on this channel, the clip of Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, talking about this 72 billion parameter model. And that was built by Covenant. Specifically the Templar subnet, which was subnet number 3. And Jesus put a great post here. We're just going to go through this and I'll give my individual thoughts on each piece of this. So Sam Dare was the founder of Covenant. They owned 3 different subnets, as you can see here: Templar, Basilica, and Grail. He decided to go dump 37,000 TAO on his own subnet holders. So this was not some sort of hey, we're exiting, we're going to make sure we're not going to, ruin some people's bags. We're just going to, soft exit. They could have gone about this so much better, but Sam Dare decided to dump $10 million in 2 separate buys after accusing Bittensor of being centralized. So there was a lot of drama on the timeline. And like I said, you definitely know of this subnet because of the fact that Jensen Huang shouted it out. And for the most part, it was probably one of the most highly renowned subnets on the entire Bittensor ecosystem. And we see that he accused the founder of Bittensor of suspending emissions to Covenant subnets, removing moderation rights over his community, deprecating Covenant's subnet infrastructure, dumping TAO at strategic moments to apply economic pressure, a 3-person multisig that's actually controlled by one guy. Now, I think there's some, we got to read between the lines here. So number one, the owner of the subnet, Sam Dare, would not have just dumped $10 million because he had problems with the ecosystem or the founder. That can be gotten over. This was strictly malicious, in my opinion. He wanted an exit. It was the time his subnets got all this hype. And now subnet 3, which is probably the most hype one, Templar, is completely abandoned. The founder of Bittensor came back and said, hey, I don't have the ability to suspend emissions. He sold 1% of his alpha tokens on 3 different subnets that were on 100% burn code, same buy and sell rights that every TAO holder has. So what this means, 100% burn code, means that the projects, the subnets, were burning all of their emissions effectively to pump their own price. So this makes a supply and demand curve and makes their charts look, let's just say, better than they really are at the same time. He didn't remove his moderation rights. He gave him a temporary timeout because he was deleting criticism from his community channel, deprecating infrastructure. The founder says he doesn't even know what that means. And less than 1% of what Bittensor's founder had invested in Sam's team is what he had actually sold, which he has the right to. Visibility is important to avoid in his position. He gave Sam a 2,000 TAO bonus and invested thousands of TAO into his subnets, which effectively could be millions of dollars. Const's dump whenever he got accused of selling tokens was 200 TAO, whereas the founder of these three subnets dumped 37,000 TAO. Now, we have to take a look at this through not fluorescent lenses, just strictly objective. Number one, there has to be a change in the subnet mechanism. I mean, you can't have founders with all this liquid token, allocation that they can just go dump and effectively leave the ecosystem overnight. I think that that's ridiculous. And I also think that people saying that this is a rug is on TAO's behalf. There's a lot of buzz on crypto Twitter about this. A lot of people saying, oh, I told everyone so. It was a scam. This is no different. And I have to point this out. All that happened here was a founder took money and ran for the hills, really, 37,000 TAO worth of dollars. A subnet team decided to leave the ecosystem. Yet a lot of people on Twitter are treating this like it's TAO, they're damned forever. They'll never get over this. When in reality, teams move on and off chains all the time. In crypto, we know the risks of founders just taking off, abandoning, etc. So like, this is nothing new. So whenever we're talking about, someone leaving the ecosystem, there's no problem with that. We see Mark Jeffrey, probably one of the biggest investors in Bittensor by a long shot. There's a lot more subnets than Subnet 3. TAO will carry on fine without it. It's unfortunate that the founder chose this path. There are 125 other subnets, and there's plus 3 slots that just freed up. And we'll go over this here in just a second as to what subnets you could look into that are much more credible at this point in time. And also some of them that are saying, look, we've had a few publicly come out and say, we are not leaving Bittensor TAO. And also, we've been bullish here for 2+ years. I'm not going to let a founder who leaves the ecosystem at really a peak time of attention. It really is just, you could, chalk it up to whatever you want. Bittensor needs to find a way to incentivize builders to not sell their own tokens or effectively rug their communities whenever they feel like, okay, this is enough. That 37,000 TAO, let's just cause a windstorm of FUD and let's get out of here. We'll exit and, move somewhere where we can't be extradited or whatever the case is. They have to incentivize that. But I've been bullish on TAO for almost 2 years. So one group, 3 subnets leaving the ecosystem isn't going to waver my conviction. And it is just funny, like seeing some of these, like the comments, why am I tricking others to be my exit liquidity? Like I have 5-figure plus bag of TAO, but like I am not, this is just taking it objectively. People love to throw stones and try to take something down further when it's already being dragged down. And yes, is this chart fun to look at this morning? No. Is it ideal that, myself included, I lost some money being staked into the Templar subnet? No, it's not ideal. But we have to move on. And I'm not going to let one company leaving the ecosystem determine my conviction on something I've been bullish on for over 2 years. So that's that. And also, I agree with some of these tweets. Like, despite I'm not bearish on the markets currently. I'm actually pretty bullish on what's happening in the overall market. But Doc here says, this TAO FUD seems to be exaggerated, and crypto Twitter is like an echo chamber, as always. And that goes back to my tweet. Anyone who's saying that TAO rugged is literally just shit posting. I hate cussing on the channel, but it's more of a direct video here. It's just an echo chamber. People love to pile it on, right? Oh, something bad happened in this ecosystem. It's crypto. When you make a mistake, or people probably leave, and I could go probably research this. People leave NVIDIA's build program or Google development program. People go in and out of these all the time. This is not something that is strictly crypto, but when it is crypto, it is so magnified, like to an extent that it's almost unfair to the overall ecosystem of TAO. They need to enforce parameters to prevent this, of course, but this is literally just one ecosystem, one team leaving the ecosystem. There's 125 other teams, and most of them have already came out and said, we're not leaving TAO. The system worked as it's supposed to, and the on-chain metrics don't lie. It's a tempting opportunity. And I do think that we're going to see a pretty vicious bounce whenever it comes to the price action. And at TAO X, the largest public holder of TAO tokens, we are super bullish. TAO is the largest decentralized AI platform. B, TAO is like the ETF of AI state-of-the-art subnets. One subnet failing has zero effect. I absolutely agree with that. Has a 3 billion market cap versus companies like OpenAI. We talked about this yesterday, 1.5 trillion in value. It's evolving and will only become better with time. And yes, there will be changes. I do believe that. But you're seeing all the biggest holders and funds in TAO kind of in the same sentiment of like, I don't really, teams do this all the time. It's just a risk of crypto. And you can't go in there and dump $10 million on your chart as a subnet founder and then blame everyone else. Like, it's pretty hard to do, especially when the on-chain metrics show that he was accusing the founder of Bittensor for selling his subnets, but he sold 200 TAO, and this guy goes in and sells 37,000 TAO. I don't know. It's pretty ridiculous to me. So as far as where your money could be in the ecosystem, you guys know I love Bitcast. I like Targon. I like Ridges, and I like Shoots. Those are all three on this list. Shoots, Ridges, Targon, and then Bitcast is down here, the creator marketing platform. We have Synth, which is prediction market data. Definitely one that's interesting there. We have computer vision for sports, which is Score, kind of like Moneyball. AI-driven weather forecasting with Zeus. We have Resi, which is real estate data. But for me, I would keep it high level. Shoots, Ridges, Targon, Bitcast. I think those are pretty solid to take a look at this point in time. And look, I lost some money on this. I'm not going to lie, and it doesn't feel great. But it is what it is, and we're going to move on, and we're going to definitely be able to recoup. And I think that there's a good opportunity. It's gotten FUD over the last 24 hours. I think it's a pretty good chance to get a under $300 buy. Because when we look at the broader market right now, you can see everything's really green. And especially in the top like 15, Hyperliquid's up 17% this week. Even stuff like Avalanche is moving upwards. Sui's moving upwards. If it wasn't for this FUD, Bittensor would probably be sitting above $350. If we look at the chart here, it was literally at 350 like last night or 2 nights ago. And then, yeah, it was at 340 right before this news hit yesterday evening. So look, I don't think that this is going to make or break Bittensor TAO. I still think the ecosystem is absolutely genius. I think that there's some changes that can be made. But look, this is crypto, and it happens all the time. Bad actors come through the space and, do things. They point fingers at others. And look, I think that it's just disappointing to see, especially after all the hype. And that's why he effectively exited the ecosystem. He just got the biggest shill he'll ever get from Jensen Huang, the owner, the CEO of NVIDIA, the biggest AI company in the entire world. So yes, of course, he probably had the ball in his court. He probably saw all that TAO that he could pull from his subnets and extract, and he took that. So moving forward, we're going to be monitoring, what's going on with some of these subnets. But I think if that's the biggest catastrophe that can be thrown at TAO, if that's the FUD, a founder effectively single-handedly rugging and leaving the ecosystem and pointing fingers at the problems that he is making up about the project, then I don't think we really have anything to worry about. But of course, like I said, we're going to monitor this. And if no changes come about and they still allow founders to be able to do this, that could be a little different. I still remain that TAO is my #1 AI play. It remains my #1 AI bag by dollar value. And I plan to continue accumulating at these levels, guys. So drop down below in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on this. Obviously, it's not ideal. It is what it is. This is crypto. You have to be ready for stuff like this. And I don't think anyone prepared to see the #1 subnet on the entire network do this. But it is good. We got multiple tweets from other projects in the ecosystem like Shoots and Ridges and the other ones on this list saying, look, we're here with Bittensor for the long haul, and they have no intentions of leaving the ecosystem. So guys, like the video down below, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on Monday's video. As always, trade responsibly, and of course, stay bullish, my friends.